So this is where we're at. This whole autofocus thing, it screws the light up. I mean, like I say, it's just a shitty little track phone. That's what the projects look like in modern society, just so you know. Projects, yeah, I grew up in the projects, thanks. Won't get any greener if you water it. It's amazing, all these buildings, they keep building boxes and building boxes. I remember in San Francisco, like 98, 99, even back then, they said there were 7,000 more registered vehicles in San Francisco than there were parking spaces. That people would actually rent apartments that had a garage and rent the garage out like a roommate and never use the garage and save half the rent. It's, mother necessity forces us to learn this shit and figure it out. So, that being said, I guess, I see a leash and a loose dog. I don't know if we want to, let's not do that. We can wait, Mr. Elvis, sorry. Let's holler at Jolly, maybe. And if we do that, Jolly is pretty particular about his privacy and his issues. The other day I took a picture of my setup and he didn't want his kitchen's pretty clean, but he's more sensitive about it. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, we're sitting here, see projects, trash, dumpsters. It's so pretty and nice, you'd think. They just dress up the projects. Everybody that lives there is sucking ass just like everybody fucking else. And then those are the rich projects. See over there? So you've got middle class, upper class, lower class. But they're all still in school. The upper class don't put themselves in a class. They call themselves the elite. They don't have money. Recommended movies I would recommend is definitely Justin Timberlake, In Time, when we realize that all we're doing is bartering our efforts for security, our individualities. I mean, becoming drones. Oh, you can dress however you want, but you still got to go down the hallways every day and go to class. I mean, wake up in the morning, drive down the street, and go to work. Have your license, insurance, and registration, aka hall pass, except hall passes these days cost thousands of dollars a year for every monkey and individual. Y'all put up, I put up with insurance. I have to. I got the 3 answered questions. That's the only way you can play this game is if you got that 3 shit. So, driver's license, insurance, registration, all covered and on autopilot. Once you got that, you forget about it. But think about it. How wrong is it that they got to charge us just to drive around the streets? It's like they keep the leash so tight. It's like this comic strip I wanted to write or create or draw. I can't draw for shit, but I got some good ideas. And this one is, it's like a couple of dogs. There's Elvis. Let's put you like that. Hopefully you see Elvis and me. So it was a couple of dogs sitting there with collars and no leash sitting on a porch. And outside the fence, there's these people walking the dogs. And there's like the bulldog with the big chain and the thick leash, right? There's little yippy dogs with the zip line fucking leashes that bounce back, zoink back, all running around. And the frou-free dogs with the, like a Park Avenue type of dog, like a poodle or something with some diamond studded leash. And the 2 dogs are going, but Elvis, they're still on the leash. Elvis doesn't have to be on the leash. Are they gone? We're pausing because I like to let Elvis off on the leash, and I don't want to interrupt anybody's day by having Elvis in their business. Elvis is a nice dog, but keeps me from having to run over there and stop a fight. So let's roll the smoke, Elvis, and then we'll go do business. How about that? So, backstory, Elvis had found me about 12 years ago in Northern California. Hi, Miss Randy, if you ever see this. And her daughter and... anyway, so there's this lady that used to water the rose bushes at this Gypsy Bazaar. Hi, Miss Gypsy, if you're still around. If you're not around, you're up in the ethers. So I was working at this Gypsy Bazaar, camping behind the gas station. And this abandoned tail-tucked dog that I named Ginger after this rainbow sister I met once. Actually 3 times. So anyway, Ginger was tail tucked and abused, but she'd follow me all around. She kind of adopted me. And so Miss Randy comes up to me one night. It's snowing in Laytonville, which is a fucking rarity. So Elvis and I, instead of being in our tent, we went over to the post office where there was an overhang. And I'm sleeping there. And I wake up. Ginger wakes me up, and Miss Randy shows up. And she has this cute little puppy, and she's all like, so my dog had these puppies, and da-da-da-da-da, and I know you want one. Do you want one? And I'm like, no, I don't know. I travel a lot. I live behind a fucking gas station in a tent. It's hard enough for me to feed myself. How am I going to feed a dog? And so she's like, da-da-da-da-da, maybe your other dog will like that dog, and, you know, it'll be better for everybody in town. And I'm like, well, and then she's like, you can keep it for 3 days, and if you don't want to keep it, you can give it back. And I'm like, I'm not like that. I'd never do that. But, okay. And so she had put this little puppy in my hand, so she just reaches in my arms, snatches that little puppy, and reaches down in the pedals and pulls out Elvis. He was like 3 times the size. And I'm all like, holy fucking shit, that's like 3 times the size of the dog. And I accepted it because I believe, like women, like children, like life, the right one finds you if you're willing to accept that. And so his dad's a blue tick hound, so being a fat hound dog, I figured his name was Elvis. And I didn't name him Elvis, I just happened to have my ears open when he told me. So yeah, that's Elvis right there. He's ready to go do business. And somebody's over there acting really weird. What are you doing, dude? Picking up sticks? Somebody's gathering sticks or rocks or something. Looks a little shady, but maybe it's a creative endeavor. At least he's picking stuff up and not putting it down. Wow, I got like 4 or 5 tangents going right now, huh? Sorry, guys. Come on, bud. That's Elvis. Prettiest dog ever. He definitely makes the bar pretty high for humans. It's hard for a human to surpass the loyalty of a dog. I'm not seeing a no parking sign right there, so I think I'm going to be alright. I want to stand in the sunshine though, because it's warmer. So anyway, back to Elvis and Laytonville and Ginger. Due to methamphetamine infused the place was fucking twacked out, so we bounced and we went up to Garberville. It was a whole lot nicer. Hung out at the Hemp Connection a lot, and Miss Zara's Flavors Coffee Shop, and over in Redway at the K-Mud. And since I've had Elvis riding along with me, it's been quite an adventure, and it might become a couple 3 books. Driving Mr. Elvis, or riding with Elvis, riding with the King. Now, as I'm thinking about it, as publishing and sharing of ideas has changed to these podcasts instead of books, right? Think about it. Now we're not wasting paper and we're sharing communications instantly, pod to pod. Look at the fire over there. I don't know, what is that, the refinery or something? Can you guys see that? Storage lockers over there between here and those silos. Over there on the other side of the Jeep is the Starbucks where we do our coffee stuff and computer stuff. Our friend Jolly lives close in the ghetto. And if you listen, Jolly, I'm not telling any personal information. I know how you are. I respect your privacy, brother. I appreciate your help. Yeah, so life in the ditch. It's not a bad life when you get used to it. I remember in high school, actually it was 8th grade, I got in trouble about some stuff, being involved with the wrong kid, so to speak. And I got suspended for 3 days because I bought some Black Beauties from some kid. And to be honest, I didn't give a shit about the drugs. I just was doing what all the other kids did. Say, oh, okay. Hey, not so far there, brother man. I'm like, oh, okay. So anyway, I told the counselor that, yeah, I bought them, but no, I didn't do them. They were at the house. He drove me to my house. I went inside, got them out of a sock drawer or something, gave it back to him, went back, and they said because I gave them back, I didn't get suspended for a week. I only got 3 days. And of course, my dad, he took my spark plug out of my motorcycle. That's pretty much the easiest way to ground me as a kid. For 3 days, I'm sitting at home and nothing to fuck do. I finished all my homework before noon. TV back then sucked ass. I mean, we had MTV with like, a mac and cheese commercial and Lunatic Fringe by Red Ryder. So I was walking around, and I even walked up around to the outside of the school, and I remembered why I got in trouble, because somebody had pulled the fire alarm. And we went outside, and when we went back in, somebody like stopped. We were in the back of the line, and the door locked. So then, because we were locked out of school, we figured, well, we might as well get high. And we got high, and we got in trouble. And then they heard all this other stuff. And so I'm out there, and I was thinking, being suspended from school ain't so bad. But next time I'm going to get caught with somebody, so I have somebody to hang out with. And that's what people don't understand about homeless people. What you call homeless people, the homies that gather in droves around the food kitchen, the lunch lady rejects. They're not there because they're not efficient. They're there because they still think y'all are stupid. They're wondering when you're going to just join the party. Good boy, Deep Grass. That's why we call it Deep Grass. We were in Garberville. We stayed there an extra season just to teach him all the stuff he needed to know. Things like get her done in the deep grass. Which is kind of funny when you think about it. What kind of weird coincidence is this? A Jughead cartoon? Looks like Jughead. Jughead. There's probably a message in there somewhere, but... I mean, when you think about it, I've been to lots of festivals. I've set up festivals. I've tore down festivals. Worked in Telluride for about a year. A summer and a half. Every 3 weekends, show up, set up, tear down, hang out, camp out. But think about it. How many tents can you fit here? Huh? How many tents? How many yurts? How many tiny houses? Why do we need that? And that's kind of what I was saying about the whole system earlier is, and when they squeeze you and mother necessity and shit like that, is the oppression will force people to adjust and change. Sorry, right there should be a link to that, or a clip of that oppressing of the masses. Look, he's the king. How do you know he's the king? He's the one with no shit on him. Zoinky zoinks. Don't eat my food, but you can sit in the front. That's Dad. That's mine. Mine. Ugh. Whew. Alrighty. Sorry about the zoinky zoinks and jigger jaggers. Oh, Lord. So yeah, back to writing books. And and this being my book. Probably out of the frame. Elvis has water. Elvis has food. Y'all want to see how we live? Check this shit out. Residentially Challenged 101. Elvis's food. Oh, wow. What the fuck is that all zoomed in for? Sorry, you guys have been looking at some really horrible stuff with that zoomed in. I didn't mean to do that. So we got Elvis's food in a little container. There's a little water. It's all been a process, bro. It's been years for us to figure that shit out. We got plenty enough of diagonal bed space. Under there's a couple of bags. There's tools. Oh yeah, I need tools. Shit. Storage locker. So, yeah, we've learned to just roll with it as things present themselves. Go ahead. See, I'm nice. I don't go ahead, yeah. When you're really nice, you don't have to get mad. Granted, the weed helps a shit ton. Right? Know what I'm saying? But the thing I like about this as a book is I'm going to keep loading this stuff up there in podcasts. And I'm almost thinking as if each podcast is a chapter. One of my, I wouldn't call it an inspiration, but somebody I've always appreciated, aside from the pentatonic verse of Shakespeare, is Mark Twain, a.k.a. Samuel Clemens. And few people give him credit. I hear lots of people talking about the original stand-ups, and if it weren't for Richard Pryor and George Carlin, my dad's record collection, I wouldn't. I mean, that's where I learned how to cuss. That was my entertainment. What I did when I was suspended from school. Sit around and listen to Richard Pryor for fucking hours on end. But they talk about, Jackie Gleason and all these other stand-ups, and few people acknowledge Mark Twain as one of the first touring stand-up philosophers. He had his bits, he wrote them down, people read them, so they kind of knew what he was going to do when he showed up. But there's a difference in the way a word is written and heard or understood as opposed to the way a person says it. And I think a previous podcast, because when I was turning it stopped, so I'm starting again. I stopped to think and forgot to start again. Oh, look, a squirrel. Elvis is like, where? I'm kidding, buddy. That's just a joke. He said it's a joke. He's not funny. I'm joking. Oh, yeah, so Mark Twain wrote this book called Roughing It. Because back then in the day, people had very little to do than sit around reading shit. And his introduction, it's on my Facebook stuff on the... is it etc.? I think it's etc. It could... anyway, if you care, you go find it. Maybe I've by now figured out how to put links and shit in here, but not yet. Still into it, but early chapters, early experience, later chapters, better experience, better production quality. We hope. All we gotta do is do a better one than we did last time. The hell's sliding? Good sliding on the other stuff. So the idea was he wrote this introduction, if you will, preface or whatever you call it. Basically saying, I wrote this book for the pleasure of the reader. I would have tried to hold a bunch of words and information back, but the tighter I got, and back then that meant drunk, the tighter I got, the more the words of wisdom and experience and came out. So enjoy it. It was 938 pages of a book, and that was his adventures. He went west with his brother, who was a government official or something like that, senator, I don't know. It's a great book. I highly recommend it, but I also am aware I'm not doing this for people now. Like, Matt Wahlberg in The Martian. If they ever did that, the easiest way to make it succeed is figure out how to let them take dogs. Right. You don't get lonely with a dog. I haven't had, but I don't know, 4 or 5 girlfriends in the 12 years that, and by girlfriends, I mean anywhere from a 1 night to a 3-week stand, since Elvis has been around. But I don't mind it. I don't miss it. I had plenty back then. But I still would like to get this. Oh shit, I missed the turn again. God bless it. That's how I waste so much fucking gas. They just keep bugging me. I figured it out myself. No, Mom. All I wanted was a Pepsi. She wouldn't give it to me. Just a Pepsi. When I went to your schools, I went to your churches, I went to your learning institutional facilities. How can you say I'm crazy? They stick me in an institution, said it was the only solution to give me needed professional help to protect me from the enemy, myself. Kids these days, millennials, they sure missed out. Sorry about that. From listening to these things already, I know how much that sounds like shit. But yeah, if I can get a little doohickey there, I can't imagine there's any sense in you looking at me all the time. I mean, Elvis thinks I'm beautiful. That's all that really matters. Beauty isn't an inside job. I still want to promote the idea that if ladies, for real, if you spend all your makeup money on me, everybody would be happier. I remember my mom would be like, I can't go out without my face on. And all I could think of was, shit. You have to wake up every day and make up for something you didn't do. Or something like that. I don't know. So we're going to try this lap again. Or maybe we need to... Fuck. Yeah. Saying I don't need the tools. I like the tools. I know it does. Oh yeah, potholes. Welcome to Denver. Well, click the link and send me a fucking stand. There's a couple more of these phone doohickeys. Figure if I could get one up on the dash and one here and one maybe on Elvis, you'd see what I'm talking about, and I wouldn't come across like that much of an asshole. I mean, I realize I can be an asshole. I consider that a compliment for most people. You think I do it on accident, Thumb? I mean, bless your heart. So I'm contemplating shower and jollies, a shower and a shave, storage for tools, and back to Wally's. We'll see. I already I've been bothering talking to you, so I haven't really had much time to think about it other than, oh fuck, I missed the turn again. Well, around the block a time or two with JC and Elvis sounds better than cruising. The other day, I originally thought cruising with JC and Elvis, high culture cruising, was driving around, getting high, hanging out with your friends, listening to music and shit. These days, cruising is a whole other thing. I miss the days when people kept the private parts. I don't give a fucking rat's ass what you do with any of that shit. Just keep it to your fucking self. Whole thing I have, I mean, back in high school, I had a couple, I won't call them friends, classmates, I call them. They straight up told me they pretended to be gay because they were always trying to get the girls to convert. And the more flamboyant of them that were like that, the more likely they'd put their into anything. Because they didn't particularly, they got to the point when they were so ridiculed once they came out that they didn't fucking care. And that's kind of a drag too, to think about it. Padlocks sitting in the road, that could be a tire hazard. Another red car. You tell me not to go to storage? What the shit? Sorry, just trying to pay attention to the sounds. Oh, that sounds like such crap. But it's true. Oh, cool. A white car and a white car. It's all white. It's not about the signs as much as how you interpret them. It's not about what they say. It's not what you say. It's how they hear it. And back in, pick that up because that way shit. It was Johnny something. Me and this guy were two kind of solo break dancers that connected and then became a third in this. Anyway, we were out at this roller skating rink because I grew up in a roller rink. Am I fucking the screen up again? I might be. I'm going to the 35th. So, growing up at this roller rink, we would hang out on the outside, and that's where we'd hang out with our cars. And you grow up driving fast and skating fast in a circle, then you evolve into driving fast in a circle. I don't know, I guess, but we had our cars and we were cruising for chicks, hanging out in the parking lot. And there's this Wendy's or something. I don't know what it was, some fast food store. And he goes, and he teaches me this. He's like, it's not about what you say, bro. It's about how they take it. And he goes, watch. And he looks across the parking lot and he sees a guy walking up to Wendy's. He goes, hey, buddy, nice hat. The guy goes, yeah, fuck you. The guy, see? I go, what do you mean? And he goes, hey, nice hat. Oh, thanks, man. My brother gave it to me for my birthday. Thank you. Yeah, I really like it too. That's awesome. There's a difference there. And he said the same fucking thing with the same tone inflection. Now, back to I say what I mean and I mean what I say. Let your yeses be yeses and your noes be noes, as the book says. Back in high school, lots of friends would, I always say what I mean, but I always. And that kind of goes back to that language thing I was talking about, the can. When I was in high school, we had to learn code talk just so we could communicate with our friends because they were really strict against weed. Granted, it's one of the things I learned from my dad was if you smoke it like a cigarette, they'll think it's a cigarette because anybody that smokes, if you think about it, anybody that smokes won't get near. If you don't smoke, you won't get close enough to my smoke to smell what it is. And if you don't like my fire, then don't come around because I'm going to burn one down on a regular and daily basis if I can help it at all.